In this lesson, we're going to take a look at absolute value. Absolute value simply is a term that deals with any positive or negative number. Absolute value talks about how far is a number from zero. That's all it asks. It is the distance. So if we think about distance, if I want to move from here to there, 1, 2, 3, what distance have I just traveled? The answer is 3. Now I'm going to face this way, but I'm going to travel a distance of 3. 1, 2, 3. Now even though I went backwards, the distance I still traveled was 3. So when I talk about absolute value, the distance from this point to 0, this point to 0, any point to 0, the answer is always going to be positive because it's impossible to go a negative distance. The symbol for absolute value, or how do you know you have an absolute value question, is this. It'll be a number with straight bars beside it. So this picture is asking, what's the absolute value of 3? How far is the number 3 away from 0? Now, you can use a number line, or you can just get to a point where you say, oh, 3 is 1, 2, 3 spaces away from 0. What if I have -4 with straight bars around it? Absolute value of -4. Well, here's -4. How far is -4 from 0? I can count on a number line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spaces. What you have to understand is it always will be a positive answer because distance is positive. I want to show you 2 more examples of problems you'll see. You may be asked about decimals. That's fine. -7.2. What's the absolute value of -7.2? Well, here's 7, -7. 0.2 would be a shade to the left, so this would be -7.2. It wouldn't be to this side, because if I was to this side, I would be in the 6s. Because 6 to 7 are all the 6-point numbers, 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, etc. Between the 7 and the 8 are the 7, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, etc. Because remember, these are the opposites. So 7 would be to the right, 7 and 8, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4. But in the opposites, I now need to count the other way. So -7.2, how far is it from 0? It's 7.2 away. So it doesn't matter if it's a decimal, it still becomes that number. And I may have to compare. Absolute value of -9, how does it compare with the number 2? Well, this is a problem. I have to do something. I have to do the absolute value. So this has to get done first. So underneath it, in my head, on paper, somehow, I have to actually do this. Oh, what is the absolute value of -9? How far is -9 from 0? Oh, the answer is 9. So what you're technically counting is 9 compared to the number 2. Well, which is bigger? Oh, 9 is greater than 2. So my symbol would look like that. Let's look at one more. -8, absolute value, and what's the absolute value of 3? And I want to compare these two. Again, I have to do the absolute values first. Absolute value of -8 is 8. Absolute value of 3 is 3. Which is bigger? 8 is greater than 3, so my arrow would point that direction. So absolute value is not difficult. Just understand my answer is always positive, and it is the distance from 0.